Yes, there we go. All right. Hey, John. Hey, Vanessa.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Kanishk.
How you doing this day?
Good.
How about you?
Amazing. I'm doing good as well. It's a fine Thursday morning for me, and I'm really happy that you both are here. Welcome to Crosschain with Kanishk. This is a show where we talk about everything related to interop. And we've also expanded beyond interop now. And we're talking about AI, we're talking about CloudBot, we're talking about just how developers or people in crypto now, because everybody's a developer, English is a coding language now, apparently.
Mhm.
Um, Everybody can build things that they want, and sometimes we talk about a cross and how you can add a bridge or even abstract a bridge under the surface. Sometimes we talk about prediction markets and how truth can come on chain. John, I know you know a lot about that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically what we do here. My name is Kanishk. I'm the DevRel at Across, and this is one of my favorite ways to interact with our community and also welcome your community and our community to be one community. So that's kind of what we do here. I would love to pass on the mic to you. Please give us a small introduction. John will start with you, then Vanessa will go to you, and just talk us through your journey, your career. What do you do at OyaChat, and how did you even come up about Oya? So take the stage.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give myself a brief intro first. So I'm the CTO and co-founder at OyaChat. And I used to be at UMA and Across. So I worked on the Across V1 back when Across was just like a one-way bridge from L2 to L1. And built out a lot of natural language driven stuff at UMA as well, including working on the polymarket integration, which you mentioned. So definitely a deep background in prediction markets. I started doing smart contracts in 2016, and actually the first one I did was a prediction market. It was like an early market around like movie box office receipts, actually, which was kind of interesting as an experiment. And I don't know, got into Bitcoin in like 2011. It's basically why I became a programmer, because I was like, I want to work on stuff that's like this. So I was coming out of creative writing and switched to writing code because I was like, Bitcoin is so cool. So deep background in this. And you mentioned earlier that English is like a programming language, and kind of what we're doing with Oya right now is that English is also like a smart contract language, like just expressing what you want to do and having it happen. So that's my background.
And I'm Vanessa. I'm the CEO and co founder of OyaChat. And I would say that my background is I'm not a programmer, I'm a non technical founder. My original background, I was a technical architect in the building and construction field. And that's a physical environment, not digital. And for me, getting into OyaChat really started in April of 2020. The pandemic lockdown, and I was wanting to work on a project with John, and it ended up being like a decentralized Amazon, basically. And this was allowing just regular users to reap the benefit of their effort when they build up a platform versus it goes to shareholders. So from there, the concept of Oya was originated, and Oya really is signifying this like really high energy, kind of similar to like Nike and similar to like Starbucks, like this feminine, like really divine energy. So I figured that would be a really nice pivot point. It seemed like the name kind of called out to me, to be honest. But going from there into from architecture to doing a building of a product, it really is transferable skills because it's a lot of client and user testing, and you're building for someone versus just building and hoping that someone will come.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that was a really nice transition point for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's actually each time we do one of these, everybody comes and tells me a part of their life that was so away from crypto. And then suddenly you came here and then you just got involved in crypto. And now you're building one of the coolest products that I've heard about in a very, very long time. Speaking of which, first, you're right. The name Oya actually has a very nice ring to it. And the second thing here is, please walk us through, and either of you can take this question. Walk us through as you're building Oya. What what's like the problem statement that you're trying to solve with this? And it's a chat app, right? So are we competing with WhatsApp here? Are we competing with the likes of Telegram here? or is this a new strata of users that we're targeting? So teach us more about Oya and who should be using Oya.
So I think the heart and spirit of it, really, Oya is an extension of us. So over the years, we always help friends and family onboard to crypto. And if they wanted to move something like some like baby Doge and they want to turn it into cash, or UMA into cash, or whatever they wanted to like onboard into like a token, usually we get a lot of questions from friends and family, and it turns out that they need a lot of handholding, and they feel that they are not as they can't easily access it. It's a lot of friction. So we would literally handhold them and be on calls with them. And some of the calls were like 40 minutes just to help them onboard and like get a wallet. So then we saw there was a need. And for us to be able to give OyaChat and the protocol to people, it would be helping them do things that we already do for our friends.
Yeah, and I think also the idea that you could just ask for something to happen and have it happen. We saw this confluence of technologies. So I was at UMA at the time, and I was working a lot on, I guess, like promoting UMA to different projects. And one thing that I had worked on at UMA was OSNAP, which is actually very similar in the sense that it's a natural language set of rules that governs a safe. And it was securing over $1 billion at its peak and everything. But I knew that you could use that same structure to express any set of rules for anything. And the challenge is just that it would take so much work to build all of the surrounding infrastructure and bots to serve it and everything. And then Vanessa was a really early adopter of ChatGPT. So probably like a week or two after it came out, Vanessa's like, you need to look at this.
Yeah.
And so we saw this combination of things where now you have like this LLM front end that you can just kind of like ask and have it translate into the technical actions. And then that was in 2023. So it's much stronger now. And it's at the point that you can create agents and bots that can serve just random bespoke things that people are asking for. So we've got the chat as a front end because we want to make it easy to interact and like do all of these things. But then we're also building all the way down the stack to like the underlying protocol and on-chain stuff.
That's very cool. I want to pull a little bit more on like the stack here, but you're right. You're still in our documentation, by the way. So when you go to docs, yeah, you're still there. You did a couple of tutorials, a couple of walkthroughs, and they were so nice that everybody appreciated them, and we just love keeping them there. So yeah, teach us more about the stack here. So you mentioned that there's AI. I'm assuming ChatGPT. So there should be a layer of what's the latest model that ChatGPT has? Haiku? No, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's like Claude. So Claude is like Haiku and Opus, and then ChatGPT is running on like various GPT models. So, I mean, I guess I could like screen share real quick and like talk through different parts of the stack. Okay,
let's do it. Let's absolutely do it. And this is a very nerdy space, you know. So you can even talk to us. What's the front end made out of? What's the back end made out of? How are you building the smart contracts? Hard hat or Foundry? We can do all of that. We love doing that.
Okay.
I'll bring your screen on stage and we are now presenting. Yes, let's go.
Okay, so we have like a few elements to what we're doing. These suggested prompts are actually coming from a deep research engine that we run every day that also kind of fills out these bite-sized like insight cards where it's just kind of like quickly review crypto news. One thing that we do try to focus on is just making it like, we talk about a lot of crypto interfaces looking like a casino in hell.
Yeah.
So we try to make like this calm, like peaceful kind of place where, you know, you're doing this and it's not just like, there's like 50 slot machines. If I like push the right one, I'll make money. If I push any other ones, I lose all my money. This is just like slow it down, like talk through it. So yeah, these prompts then get filled in. We have like probably a dozen little mini agents that are using like nano models. We're like model agnostic, but we're mostly using OpenAI models plus 11 Labs for voice model. And then when you send in a prompt, a couple of things happen. There's like the main conversational agent that has all of our tools to do on-chain transactions and stuff. That's running on a 5.2 model. You can see it's chose medium reasoning for this because it thinks it's kind of like a complicated problem. So there's like a little agent that's in between that looks at the question and decides like no reasoning, low reasoning, medium, high. We don't give extra high because those can run for like 20 minutes and we don't want to pay for the inference for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, things like that. And then a lot of what we add that's different from ChatGPT is the tooling to actually handle assets. You can see like I've got a bunch of stuff on a bunch of different chains, which I guess we can talk about later. So we're live on Ethereum, Polygon, Arbitrum, and Base right now, plus Sepolia, but that's not real money. And then to say something like, I got a bunch of USDC on Arbitrum, not earning any yield. So I'll say like, put 40 USDC on Arbitrum into Aave to get yield. And then, I mean, that's like a really specific question, but if I would just ask like step by step, like how do I earn yield on my assets, which are the kind of suggested prompts a regular user, like a new one would get, Oya would kind of walk through like, here are your options right now. Like you can go on Aave, you can fund your wallet. You don't have anything in your wallet yet. Like, let me walk you through the funding flow. And everybody that signs up, we use Privy to give them an embedded wallet. And then we're creating a safe on chain for them as well to have a smart wallet. So we can do, account abstraction, gas abstraction, all of that.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Wow.
So right now it's building the transaction in the background. I can view the details. It's not taking over your money. You're not sending money to us and then hope that our AI does it correctly. You're just kind of going through these steps.
I see. So it's like money sits in my embedded wallet that was created with the help of Privy. I'm just approving the transaction here. And if a token approval is needed, that also happens in the same flow, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, it'll happen in the same flow. So if you're doing like a swap or a cross-chain thing, that'll happen. And, there's like a lot of edge cases that you discover too, like when you're adding a new system. The most recent thing we added too, we support perps now on Arbitrum. So we added OCM shipped yesterday, which is actually kind of fun to do perps, just say like 100x long on like something. It's especially fun because like in testing, we're trying to make it get liquidated to see what it looks like. So I'm like, 100x long on Apple, and then it's like, crap, it paid off. Let me try again. 50x long on silver, then silver goes like this. Like, okay, good. That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah. So while testing, you're just sad and you're making money and you're just sitting there, no, lose money for once. God damn it.
It's like either I'm testing a liquidation or I'm going to I'll just keep making money until one of these fails.
Nice. This is actually really cool because because I can just talk to the chat, like the chat interface, and then it can like do things for me, and I don't have to like worry about it. Because each time I go to Aave, I'm just like, guys, come on, it's 2026. Do something with your UI. This is boring. And like every wallet now has like an earning tab to it, which plugs into Morpho, plugs into Aave. Sometimes it'll plug into Pendle. But yeah, this is pretty nice and simple. So what like yield protocols are you plugged into?
So right now we're plugged into Aave. We're adding support for Blend, which I think that you spoke with their team a couple of days ago. And then we're also working on a prototype with Blend for a new on-chain primitive that we're calling commitments, where it's basically kind of what we talked about. It's natural language smart contracts. So you would say, I want to set up this kind of automation or like this kind of on-chain agreement. So for Blend, we're going to be prototyping going into next week is going to be something where it's kind of like you're getting direct deposit into a smart contract and you have instructions to divide it between a couple of different Blend strategies. So some of it will go to like a higher yield, potentially higher risk one, some to a more conservative one. And that's actually really simple and easy to set up with like a couple of sentences describing what you want to have happen. And then setting a reward for an agent that would come in and like get paid, 50 cents or something every time that they come and do it.
That's actually so cool. So the agent can autonomously allocate, or is there a strategy hard-coded that will decide allocation of funds here?
So you would say what you want to have happen, and then the agent goes through UMA to make sure that like what they're doing actually followed those rules.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And can you like dispute this on UMA as well in case you don't agree with the strategies that it's following?
So it would be disputing whether the transaction is correct or not. So it's kind of, it's not about like the strategy. Like somebody could make a bad strategy and they're like, here's the strategy I want to do. I'm not asking whether it's a good idea or not. It's just like, this is what I said I want to do. And then I was tinkering earlier this morning, actually. I go to like chat history. I was thinking like, what would be an interesting one for a cross? like something where maybe it's like a market maker or somebody that wants to make a deposit in one place but spread their funds across a bunch of chains automatically. So I went and deployed a commitment. I'll just go through like the full redeployment flow, if that's all right, to like show what this looks like.
Let's
But I'm
do
going
it.
to rules because that saves time.
Yeah.
Let's go
Let's
through
do
that.
it.
All right, so I'm going to say like deploy a test commitment with these rules. And this kind of demonstrates more what we're talking about. So deposits of this commitment should be sent to by an agent to oya.eth. So just a particular address, 50% to Polygon, 20% to Ethereum, 30% to Arbitrum, using a cross after the agent takes a $1 equivalent fee. And then kind of setting up some rules where, because the agent is going to be pushing their own money in advance, it's like the optimistic settlement concept that a cross runs on. You should really only have one agent at a time for this one. So we're going to have an agent stake and say like, I'm going to show up and do this, which is also good for the user because they know that when they deploy this, like, okay, but is any agent watching? Is anybody actually going to do this? An agent can stake, reserve the right by depositing 1111 USDC. And then if they don't serve the commitment within an hour after a given deposit, their stake is slashed and a new agent can show up. So it's kind of like we're creating this whole system, this whole like mechanism for like, it's not that complicated to explain in a few sentences. This would be wildly complicated to build into a smart contract. Like, I don't even know how you would do it. It would require so much extra work and it wouldn't be worth it to anybody. And then if you make any issues in the code, then you lose your money too. And like, but with this, it's kind of straightforward. So
very interesting. So is it executing all these tasks sequentially, or is it creating a smart contract that will handle it for you?
So it's going to create a safe, and then it's going to attach an UMA optimistic governor module to that safe with these rules. And so then any transactions going to that safe are going to run through the optimistic governor. And walking through the deployment flow, one thing that's a little bit different is that we remove all of the multi-sig owners of the safe too. So like the only way to go into this safe and do any transactions is according to these rules.
Wow. Okay. That's really cool.
Is taking a moment to build the flow, but this will basically like deploy the contracts from here and set them up. And then if you deploy something that people want to actually serve, then people would build agents in the background to like go and do this work. So that's kind of the prototype pilot phase that we're at.
This is amazing. And this is so interesting because one thing that we've seen happen, especially at Across, is that now, intent-based protocols, right? I want to do something, I give it to Across, and Across figures out the best way. But the person's intent on Across is not just, hey, take $10 on Arbitrum and give me these $10 on Base. The intent is, hey, deposit this money into Aave so I get like the best yield possible. So that is always the intent. And this actually does that in natural language, which is pretty cool and interesting. And I can just talk to it, which I absolutely love. Okay, you're editing the prompt here.
Yeah,
tell us what's happening.
So our AI right now is trying to be helpful by like updating the rules to try to make them more explicit and then deploy it to Sepolia to save on gas. But I want it to go on Base because it's a little bit faster. And I want the rules to be the same.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice.
So we'll just go and have it do that. And then as you can see, like you can reject something if you don't think that the AI is doing it right. So now it's like thinking about it more.
And it selected high reasoning in this one instead of medium reasoning.
It's like, wait a second, I got this wrong. That's like one of the things too, like in the prompts for our AI, it's like, if it seems like you got confused, like take some time and think about it. And we think like a lot of these, okay, yeah, so it kept my exact rules. It's doing it to Base now, setting up the collateral and bond. And we think a lot of these commitments, we're going to like test dozens of these, like different concepts with different protocols and projects, and then figure out like what ones a lot of people would want to use. And then those become templates that are super easy to deploy through OyaChat, that we know that there's agents there to serve it. We know this template's going to work, that kind of thing.
It's really interesting. And now you follow the normal flow. You just sign a transaction and you're good to go.
Yep. So this will deploy.
We're approving, and there we go. Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. With Privy, there's this feature with embedded wallets that the pop-ups also don't show up. So you
Yeah.
can like extract those away. You can like set up a gas tank. You can pay for the gas tank using your credit card, and users don't even have to pay gas for it. Privy is pretty cool. Privy is pretty cool. We like it a lot across too.
Cool. So this is deployed now. You can see it. Like, I'll share this.
Nice.
We are live on
Mhm.
base with this commitment. If anybody wants to do this, theoretically, you can. Yeah.
This is so interesting.
The rules set up. So now basically what you would do to interact with this, you would just be like, all right, here's 1,000 USDC into the safe. And then an agent could show up and collect a fee to allocate it through across to these different locations.
Super interesting. And as you mentioned that you're integrating with Blend, this also means that Blend is integrated into almost every protocol out there that is yield bearing, liquid staking, whatever. So that means I can talk to Oya, figure out, and Oya can then take over and figure out how do I get the best yield possible. And then you can just figure out with Blend where you want to allocate the money. But I really like it. I really like it. I want to also understand when you started building Oya, what was the first like prototype like? What was your like initial moment where you were like, okay, this might work, this might click, and I want to drive and drill more into this direction?
Wow. It goes all the way back to August of 2020. No, 23. Yeah.
Okay.
We actually had a prototype where it wasn't a nice interface at all like this, but you could talk to Oya and you could ask Oya to do the same kind of novel things. And this is like before like virtuals came out. But interestingly, we thought we didn't have enough
Yeah.
Yeah.
to actually go and market. But yeah, we had this probably since August of 2023, a version of this, not with the full kind of stack, or not using Privy because it wasn't there. But interestingly, with building Oya over the last 2 years, a lot of OpenAI stuff has been emerging. And while we were building, new technology would come out and it would solve problems in real time that we were facing. And then we would move on to the next problem. So I think building so early on was really nice for that reason, to be able to incorporate things kind of as they were coming out, being at the tip of the spear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there was like a hackathon that I participated in January, right after we started, where I built out like the initial version of the Sensei framework. Like we call it Sensei in GitHub. It's like a private GitHub that's running the website. But we had this idea of like AI guide networks. You would have like an AI that's like the root, and then specialized AI that it calls. And then those specialized AI have specialized AI that they called. And so we basically built out, prior to MCP and all these other things, like all of those same concepts. We were like, okay, so every AI is basically a function. Like everything is, what we would now call a tool or like a multi-agent framework. So it forced us to go from first principles, like how would this actually work? Especially because you're dealing with things that the big AI labs are also dealing with and have improved a lot on, like context management, like how are you going to connect to tools? How are you going to connect to external data sources? How do you have an AI that's like focused on a particular thing and doing it really well, while still having a generalist that you can talk to and like give more complex tasks that can then break it down and route it in the right direction?
Right. This is very interesting. And on the same note, have you seen AI fail here? Like not understand, build a bad, like digest commands in a way that was not what you asked for? And what are the guardrails that Oya has in this particular scenario to prevent that from happening?
Yeah, we would definitely see that in testing. It's why we test everything in staging really aggressively. So right now you can do like regular blockchain transactions. Like you can trade, swap, go cross chain, do perps now, do different things. And all of those, we try to make it run like as smoothly as possible, but there's still the possibility that AI makes a mistake. And that's kind of the reason why we're focused on commitments and then ultimately our protocol that becomes like this natural language execution layer, because if an AI makes a mistake, it gets disputed. So the bad transaction just doesn't happen, because like if you're right 99.9% of the time, that's not good enough for financial software. It's like you need to be right like 100% of the time. So if you put it into a commitment where there's all of these economic incentives to make sure that like whatever you said is what actually happens, Yeah, and that's why we haven't gotten like too complicated. Like we don't have like really crazy complex stuff going on in our interface right now, because we want the user to still like clearly understand like I'm doing a swap and I can
Yeah.
see like this is the swap I intended to do. Once you
Mm.
start doing like multi-step, like 8 different things, you can do that
Yeah.
safely through a commitment because the mechanism is ensuring it's done correctly and you can like read the sentences describing it. But you're not going to like read like a chain of transactions and be like, oh yeah, I definitely understand that and was able to check that.
I'll be honest, half the devs who read that don't understand anything. They're just bluffing. So we don't expect the normal everyday crypto user to understand that either.
Yeah.
Um, and on the same, I want to shift gears a little bit here, and I want to ask you, Vanessa. John mentioned that you knew about ChatGPT in like 2 weeks or like 1 week after it came out. This is so long ago, before we even thought AI could do all of this for us. How did you discover it back then? And like, are you still keeping track of all the latest AI stuff that's happening, like Kimi 2.5 that came out like, I don't know, 3 days ago or something? So, like, what's your AI strategy to stay ahead of the game here?
So back when I discovered it in 2023, it was really through a friend of mine in San Francisco that I would chat with. And they were trying to get me to use it, and they would show me like, oh, you could do all this stuff with it. And at the time he would use it to do a lot of he writes, and he was trying to like write a short story. And I was like, this is weird and I'm not going to use it. So then it took me probably like 2 weeks to decide that I would use it. And I'm like, let me see what this is about. And I had this like the same fear that a lot of people have right now. They're like, I don't trust AI. I'm like, what is this about?
Yeah.
But then when I started using it as a tool, I saw that,
Mhm.
I could actually be more productive, more efficient in everything that I'm doing. And naturally, it just became a tool that I would use like on a daily basis. And I started out using Claude, I guess, this year and last year. And I go back and forth between those two. But
Yeah.
to be honest, I do keep up to date with some of the latest model tools that come out. Like I know that I'm trying to get into the co-working with Claude right now. And some of our team uses Claude with, I think, Redemption to make these really cool videos. So it's a lot of learning. So I think with building OyaChat and like I'm doing leading the product and then doing operations and then some other like marketing stuff, it's a little bit challenging to stay ahead.
Yeah. We all feel that. Like, each day we wake up in crypto and it's like, okay, something new has dropped and now we got to catch up. That's like a feeling I go through a lot. And on a similar note, though, um, is the OyaChat app right now available for users to use? Is it in beta? And what's the best way that a user can get to it? And before even that, I'm sorry, who is the ideal user that you are targeting here with the app that you want to talk to right now?
That's a really great question.
Yeah, because we built something that's so general purpose. We're trying to figure that out. I guess like the ideal user is one that is really interested in it. Like there's users that we've seen from all around the globe and like a range of different skill levels. I think naturally the people that found us first are more of like the early adopter, degen type people that are trying out new tools. But we've
Mhm.
also got a lot of good responses from just more casual crypto investors that we've spoken to. And we're kind of thinking that that might be more of the niche, like the people that haven't really been on chain. Like we know people that they've invested tens of thousands of dollars like in crypto, but only in centralized exchanges. And we're showing them OyaChat and they're like, so when Oya says on chain, what does that mean? Then I'm
Yeah.
like, let's ask. So you can like walk through all of the concepts and like go and have a guide to everything that you're doing, because otherwise they're not going to come on chain, and those are the people that you really like want to help the most. um,
Yeah.
but then on the commitment side, I think connecting with teams that are building things, like there's a lot of complicated automations and cool things. Like as you know, every team has a long list of things that they would like to do, but there's a
Yeah.
technical limitation of like how much can we actually build. So commitments give you a way to quickly prototype something in plain language and like build an
Mhm.
agent that would serve that and kind of test demand and actually set up like automations that would be really expensive or impossible to do through smart contracts.
And
That's
the
very
idea
true.
around that, to be honest, I know like recently, since October, like the retail market has been hammered and the institutional market is like flourishing.
Yeah.
So the commitments will really address this like you can do automatic and autonomous actions on Oya. And once we get there, I feel like a lot of people would benefit from that in the retail space that want to close out positions and set rules and parameters so they don't get liquidated.
Yeah. And I think, as you mentioned, the institutional market is flourishing, the retail market is taking a hit. It's kind of true. And even with like HIP3 and now precious metals can be traded on chain, company stocks can be traded on chain. And I've seen that even coming from a crypto user or a crypto investor point of view who doesn't do any much stuff in the Web2 world, like with normal stocks and futures and options and all of that. Um, we love how we can just use our on-chain money that we made through these perps and all, and now you trade real-world commodities with it in a way, and which is cool because you already have Ostium integrated. That means I can trade on gold right away.
Yeah. I've got like I don't know if you saw, I had like a test $5 long position on gold that hasn't been liquidated yet. It's only
Really?
10x though, so it's not.
You're not sharing it.
yeah, I can share it. You can see the.
Let's do it. Because I think gold tanked today, so you're lucky that this hasn't liquidated yet. Let's see it.
Let me see. Let me ask. Like, yeah, you can see it here.
Mhm.
Copy the address or whatever. Would be my liquidation price for my gold position. I'm testing live right now. I haven't asked this question to Oya before, so I'm not sure
That's
if she'll.
fine. I hope live demo gods are with us today. I promise you it'll go well.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can like trade certain stocks, like through perps, trade gold, trade commodities, and doing user interviews with like regular traders, like that are trading in volume. Like they're not just trading crypto, and a lot of them aren't even trading crypto at all anymore, just because they've gotten burned. It's like you had good years in the past, and now crypto just seems like a pit of vipers. But crypto as a technology has always made sense. And so TradFi is now just like coming onto crypto rails, and you're trading all of these things and it's using crypto. Okay, let's see. I opened at 55.43. I think this is obviously wrong, so I'll check on that. I don't know. 55.39. I don't know. I don't think that that's right. I'll check on that. But yeah,
That's
like
fine.
people are trading ETFs, they're trading all these different things, and it's just more efficient to do it on chain. I think you probably saw the New York Stock Exchange is going to have like stock trading on chain as well. They're trying to go towards like 24/7 or at least like 24/5. So we think that makes a lot of sense. One thing that Vanessa and I talked about a lot, even prior to starting work on Oya, is decentralized ownership of real estate. And that was something that Vanessa had like worked out the legal structure. So we actually have all of like the docs like ready to go of like, how would you have a DAO actually own a piece of real estate and like meaningfully control it through votes while still following all the regulatory stuff. But we need to solve all the UX problems first, because we had all that like built and ready to go. But if you're just shipping it for crypto degens, then it's like the same 1,000 people, and you haven't really like gotten to the cool part. Like, what would an airdrop look like to a community? Or like, how could you like invest in your own community? You can't if you like can't access crypto safely and like correctly. So you can't do all of these cool things. So we want to solve the UX stuff, make crypto human readable, make it accessible to agents, make sure everything executes right. And then we can build all of these other protocols on top of it. So we've got like a 30, 40-year plan of like stuff that we can do once we get this all up and running.
I like that. And every product that makes AI a first-class citizen of whatever they're trying to achieve in this economy will succeed, because it's just faster to do it that way. Otherwise, you'll have like 10 devs sitting and then 20 people auditing and then all of that. At least it gets you off the ground. And I think that it's a nice direction that you're leading on. We're almost towards the last segment of this particular live stream. And in this particular segment, we focus a lot on the growth strategy that you have, and things that you consider competitive to OyaChat and things that you consider complementary to OyaChat. And I think the first thing that I want to ask here is that in this particular product segment, who would be a product that you are competing with? Or who would be a product that has gotten adoption already and now you're like, we'll go after this market?
Um, so honestly, I would say a lot of people have compared us to like Hey Elsa,
Hmm.
just from the co-pilot, the front end. But
Yeah.
we're more than that. We're more than just a front end. We're more than a co-pilot. We built our front end to interact with our protocol. And as John was saying, like foundationally, we want to make it very easy for people to just ask for what they want and get it. And for us, once we unleash the power of the protocol, I think you're going to really see the significance of all of the things that you can do currently on chain right now. You give that access to people that currently have no idea what on chain is, and you make it easy. You make it feel like a simple, elegant Web2 experience, but it's all crypto under the hood. Institutions
Yeah.
are doing it right now. Like people are not realizing that all of these transactions are happening on chain. So with the protocol unleashing all of that power, and the first step is commitments, I think
Yeah.
that is when we really take off. Um, but I think mainly, hey, Elsa, Surf AI was
Yeah.
another one, but that's also just a co-pilot, and they do a lot of institutional research. And I think for us, we're building on the foundational model of OpenAI. So all the latest releases, we're not trying to play the game of competing with big LLMs. We're building on top of them. So what else?
Yeah, I mean, I would go like I view it big picture that our competitor is the existing commercial and financial system, where it's like right now you're going through like banks and payment apps and like all of these processors, and you're
Yeah.
paying a lot of fees, and you're really limited in what you do, and you give up control, and it's not global, and there's all these downsides. So basically, like the same big picture thing that crypto has been about since Bitcoin from the beginning. It's like we're
Yeah.
competing with banks. Everything that a bank does, we can do better using this decentralized system. We're just taking it like a step further where like yes you can do all this stuff through smart contracts, but you can also do it through like a plain language commitment. So that's what we're really building towards, because we think that that's like the most flexible, and you can translate a lot of these things, like something that is not practical to do through the existing commercial system. It would just like cost too much to enforce some kind of agreement. You can enforce those agreements really cheaply on chain. Like there's some costs associated with going through the UMA process. You got to lock up a bond. You have to like pay some gas fees, but it's
Yeah.
really not like that bad compared to going to court over something. And
I
then
agree.
as our eventually our protocol pulls all of these commitments in one place, and so you're like bundling and proposing all at once, like how a cross does, where you have like massive throughput of bridge transactions because you just verify everything at once. We'll be
Yeah.
able to verify like all of these transactions for all of these different commitments and all these different intentions all at one time. So it winds up being even more efficient than blockchain networks are right now, while also being more expressive, because anything that you can state in plain language is fair game.
Yeah. Interesting. And yeah, I think in all of this, I'll pull a couple of threads in your answer there because that was a good one, and we'll clip it out as well. The first thing is that whenever you're right. Like one of the reasons why I'm here is because I hate going to a bank. It's so slow. They always keep having their lunch breaks. I don't know when they work, and it's so difficult to move money from like one country to the other one. And then everybody has to go and sign like papers and stuff, and then they go through scrutiny, and I can just send people USDC and it's the same thing. The best part is it won't lose its value compared to my local currency, no matter where I am in the world. So that's like one of the coolest parts about crypto to me. And everything on top of that is just, cherry on top of the cake. Because now we've got yield on top, now we've got strategies on top. And now I also got a way where I can just talk to a protocol and it'll figure everything out for me. Um, so that's pretty cool. And on that note, I also want to understand, since you're bullish on people who are trying to make good pieces of technology using crypto, and you kind of want to work with them. So does Oya have APIs or an SDK or something like that we can integrate and hackers can figure something out on their own?
We're going to be publishing some docs around commitments, but we also want to work really hands-on with teams to design and deploy them and like build agents for them. So
Yeah.
I think the best thing to do if you're interested right now is just email us at founders@oyachat.com, and we'll probably reply the same day. Very excited, and hopefully like work with the Across team on some commitments too.
Absolutely.
The nice thing also about crypto is that everything is available to interact with. Like you could go through. It's basically like our docs will let you deploy a commitment through any kind of system that you want and connect with it and like walk through what it means. But we can also deploy commitments around any other protocol. So when we're trying to do outreach, one thing that we'll start doing if we want to work with the team, but we're having trouble getting their attention, we can just like build a commitment that's like running that does some kind of cool thing. Be like, hey, like look at this, look what we did to, kind of knock on the door.
That's always the best way to get attention as well, because you can keep tweeting about like a protocol. Everybody yaps about protocols are doing airdrops, but the only people who get into the limelight are the ones who actually build something. And I've just realized that yapping or just like talking about it has lost its value, where just building on top of it has gained value, especially with AI. It's just so easy now. It's all about the idea, and the cool thing can literally iterate in a day so many times till you finally hit the mark. But yeah, we're almost at the end now. Before we leave, John and Vanessa, would you like to leave any closing notes for our viewers, our developers, and even some people who have reposted the stream?
I would just say, like, right now, the vibe in crypto feels really tough. But the reality is that crypto has essentially won. It's gotten to the point where everything is getting integrated onto crypto rails. The time where it could have failed has sort of passed. And so if you're getting back to the basics of what crypto is actually here for as a technology, this is the best time to build. If it's just about like buying a random token and it goes up 10,000x and then you retire off of that, maybe that's over. I mean, never say never. Like you can do that with stocks and random stuff now too. So I mean, that's another way that crypto won. Crypto's cultural victory. Stocks are now like crypto. But as a technology, like crypto has won, and this is the most fun time to build and design. And you got to have that long-term perspective.
So true. Vanessa, what do you think?
So I think it's important to build like parallel systems, and for us with OyaChat, it is trying to make a parallel system where the value goes to the user versus how the traditional financial market it's very exploits people. So we're trying to create something that really benefits the user, and it's always been the heart of our kind of humanitarian kind of spirit of like creating our decentralized Amazon, and then like basically the decentralized real estate, fractionalized real estate piece. So it goes all back to focusing on the user, trying to give most value to people that build up these systems, because right now you can see that does not happen. And we need to correct that. And OyaChat is that. It's that parallel system that operates for the user.
Yeah, I love that. Sweet. And John, I completely agree with you. There's never been a better time to build on crypto. Like even like I remember, and probably you both remember this better than me, but back in the olden days, it would cost so much money to deploy a test transaction on Ethereum or test smart contract on Ethereum. And you can just use Arbitrum or Base today, which eventually contributes to Ethereum. But at least you get off the ground quickly. And I think this has been a really, really cool stream because, as I mentioned, we wanted to focus a lot on AI-centric workflows, and Oya is literally leading that in that sense. So thank you so much for the both of you to be here. We have about 160 people watching us live right now, which is amazing. Thank you so much to all the viewers who have been with us through the journey today. To Megan and Alejandro, thank you for reposting the stream. And we've got another one coming on Friday. So we'll see you all tomorrow as well. And thank you so much for your time. And we must do one of these again really, really soon. So all the best in OyaChat. we'll see you all around. Thank you, folks.
See ya.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.